Hey friends, it's Jennifer. I hope you guys are doing well. I'm back today with another mixed media page, and so far these are the pages we've done, and we're going to work on this page right here today. First off, I'm going to start by putting a piece of chipboard paper underneath this page just to protect my other pages. And of course, I'm going to start with a coat of acrylic gesso, just using my paintbrush and smearing it all over the page, getting it in all the nooks and crannies. Of course, I'm going to dry it with my heat gun. You don't have to, but I like to. And I'm going to take some of this green paint, and I'm just dabbing it on here, just putting it on, not fully covering the page. And I'm going to do the same thing with this pretty blue color. And I'm going to do the same thing with this pretty blue color, just dabbing it on, not all over the page, but just in places. So now I'm going to make sure we're right side up here working on the page. And today's texture is going to be a paper towel. And I'm just going to rip down the sides, the edges, just so they won't have any straight lines. And I'm just going to take it and I'm just going to glue it down onto the page. And I'm just taking another piece here, this little L-shaped piece, and I'm just going to put it down here in the bottom corner of the page. Doing the same process, just laying glue down and using my paintbrush to smoosh it down. And I'm just putting a piece in the middle just for good measure. Now I've got some alcohol ink. This is from, I think, Ranger Tim Holtz or something like that. I picked out a yellow, a blue, and a green, and I'm just dropping some alcohol ink drops onto the page. And I know it looks like a hot mess, but you just have to trust the process. And now I'm going to take some of this other alcohol ink I have. I think I got this at the Hobby Lobby in the artist section. And I'm going to take a couple of these colors here. This is like some blue and purpley turquoise colors, and I'm just adding more drops onto the page. And I know it looks like a hot mess, but again, you just have to trust the process. So now I'm going to take my water bottle. It's got some water in it, and my heat gun, and I'm just going to spray it really good on these alcohol ink because water will make it run, as you can see here. And I'm just going to run it all over this page and use my heat gun to dry some of it up in places. And now I'm going to take my metal tool here, and I'm just going to pick the top layer of this paper towel off of the sections here. I love doing stuff like this because you never know what's underneath. And also, it's like you get second piece art. To me, it's like you get double. because you can use this on the same page or you can use it in a different project. And so that's what I'm doing here is when I dried it with my heat gun, I don't want to dry it all the way because you want to be able to pick this top layer off. You can see in this middle section that it was dry on the ends, and I really loved that because it added some texture to it, so I left those bits there. But I'm just taking and gently prying off that first layer of paper towel just to see what's underneath and to see how I can use it on this page. And so now I'm just going to dry the remaining paper towel on there and the other bits as well. And now I'm just going to take some acrylic gesso just with my finger and just get in there and soften up some of those spots on the page that I think are too dark or maybe just need a little bit of extra texture in there. And so I'm just taking it with my finger and just filling in those spots just wherever I want to. I am not a professional artist. I just like doing these types of things just by feeling. I just go in there and I feel like I need to do this. And so that's what I do. And that is how I do these mixed media pages. I'm not a professional by any means. I just go in there and do what I want until I love it. And so that's what I'm doing here. I'm just going in there and painting this gesso on there just wherever I want to. And so now I've gotten that dried and I've got some peach colored crepe paper. This came in a pack from a discount store. I think I got it for like 25 cents. And I've never really known what to do with it because I'm sure you can make flowers out of it. I've seen people do that, but I've never attempted to do that. So I'm going to use it here. I just tore it into some pieces and I'm going to paint it down onto my page with some glue. I really like the texture of this paper. I like the way it feels. And especially after I got it adhered down onto the page, you can see here I'm not gluing it down flat. I'm gluing it down, folding some pieces over to make extra texture. I love those sort of things on paper, and I love the way that this feels, and it feels with the paper towel. And so now here I'm taking the top layer of the paper towel that we tore off. I'm taking some pieces and I'm adding them back in on top of this crepe paper just with some glue and gluing it down. And again, I know that it still looks like a hot mess, but you just have to trust the process. And I'm drying this up with my heat gun. So now I'm going to take some modeling paste and my circle stencil or bubble stencil. I don't really know what you call it. And I'm just going to take the modeling paste just as it is, and I'm just going to smear it through this stencil just to get some more texture on there. And it's at this point where I realize everything is going to come together. And I'm taking a green mica spray. I make my own mica sprays a lot of times. I just use mica powder and add water to it and shake it up really good. And then I'm using a green one that I have made, and I'm putting it down on this paper, and you can see I'm drying it with my dryer, my heat gun. And now I'm taking my oil pastel crayons. I love these things. I just recently discovered them. You don't need anything but a smudging tool, which is my finger. Um, or you can use like a sponge, but I just use whatever I'm going to use it with and smudge it out with my finger. And now I'm going to take some bleach water. I tend to do this for darker colors. It's just a little bit of bleach mixed in with water into a spray bottle, and then you can spray it on whatever you have. And you can see I don't want it to run everywhere. I just want it in certain spots. So I'm using my heat gun with it, and I'm spraying it and then drying it quickly with the heat gun, but you can see it just lightens up some of those colors. And I love doing bleach spray. And so now I've got a charcoal pencil. I love the oil pastel crayons, but they are fat like a crayon, and they're not sharp. And so I needed something to get into those smaller spots there. So I'm just using a charcoal pencil with the fine tip on it, and I'm just going in there. It works the same way. You can go in there and smudge it out as well. And so that's what I'm doing here. I'm going over the texture paste that I laid down with the stencil, and I'm just going in there and popping out those pieces there. And so here is kind of a glimpse of the page so far. And now I'm going to take the heart for this page. If you've been watching, I'm putting a heart on everything that I do this year to remind me to love others, love myself, and my work better. This was a heart from one of the scraps piece video that I made, and I will link that in the top. And I just took one of the hearts and glued it onto this project. And now I'm going back with my charcoal pencil and just highlighting that heart a little bit to help it stick out a little bit better. And now I'm also taking the charcoal pencil and just going in there with some of the shapes that I see that the ink has made. And I'm just outlining some of those just to make them sort of pop up off of the page. And now I need to put a label on this for when I did this piece, which is February. And I'm just trying to decide if I want to use the top napkin piece. I am going to use this blue piece of paper. It was a scrap. And so I'm just trying to decide here whether I'm going to use that or not. But I'm just writing in with my ink pen February 2025. I usually use an alphabet stamp and some ink, but I decided today I was just going to use my ink pen. And so here's me just trying to decide if I want to use that or not. And you can see I went in there and darkened up the February 2025 with a darker pen. And I decided to not use the napkin top piece after all. I just decided to go with a piece of tea-dyed book page. And I'm just going to glue the blue piece of paper on top of that. And I inked around both of them to help each one stand out. And I'm spraying this with a matte finish. In case I ever use water or water gets on this, it won't run that ink on there. And so I just gave it a quick spray. And now I'm just adhering this down to the page with some glue and my paintbrush, just smearing it out on there. And I'm just going to place it down onto the page. And here is the completed page. You can see I really enjoyed doing this. It was a process. And I hope it's inspired you to do some mixed media projects of your own. Use the things you have around your house and make it your own, and love your own work, love others and yourself. I'll see you the next time. Bye.